All right, we might be live here. Let me see. We're going to have to check this out. Sports fans, what's going on? Patrick over here at Ghost Picks ATS. Thank you for stopping in. Hopefully get a cup of coffee, or if you're joining later, we get a nice NCAA basketball free play for you. We are on an absolute heater with the free plays, so look to keep that going. The people on YouTube should be pretty happy, especially, and then so are the premium clients. College basketball has been very good, so with a big Saturday on deck, this is going to be a longer episode, so if you want to fast forward to the end, I will recap the free plays, but if you want to get into the meat and potatoes, the good stuff, or the live action, like yesterday we had Seton Hall as our free play, as well as Dartmouth, so a double free play winner. But if you did tune into the video, as you know, my guy Eric did, he commented yesterday, we had Seton Hall first half, Seton Hall full game, and I said to look for a live number on Creighton. If you got Creighton second half, you pushed. Some depending on the book, Eric hit the triple winner. That's the kind of stuff that comes in the middle of these videos. But I will recap the free plays at the end if you're just looking for a quick free pick. And that will be in the Carolina and Duke game. UNC, Duke, greatest rivalry in sports. So we'll get into that game and talk about that one and some of the matchups. And then I'll also be talking about some of the games going on today. If you want to, talk about any of these games in specific, you can throw it in the comments. And I'm over here live checking it out. So I'll pull up my stuff and talk about any game, just about any game. I do have my premium card, so that will be outside of those games. I'm willing to talk about just about any game on the board. But even these free plays have been premium plays as well. They're top picks. Yesterday there was a select few amount of games. There was only about 15 college basketball games yesterday, but we were all on top of it. Double free play winner. Seton Hall was also the top tier play of the day. I love Seton Hall, the way that line moved, and the matchups. Once we saw a couple people active and playing, Seton Hall first half was, those favorites and those lines that are a little bit questionable. I said it yesterday. Seton Hall is one of these teams that I think is probably the best value to win the national championship. It's a little bit crazy, but if you look at after they played the way last night, it can make sense. They play on defense. They have depth. They have experience. They have shooting. They can do it all. It's just whether or not they put it together. And last night, they absolutely did that versus Creighton. That was the best I've seen them look all year long. So great having them as the top tier and free play. Dartmouth also squeezed that one out. So awesome stuff there. That extends the free play streak to 8-0 with a double free play winner. And premium picks are doing just as well. So if you want to, hop on board the NCAA basketball month. You can join the Heat for just $5 a day, and that'll be up for another 1 day, and then from there on, that will be taken down, and we'll go back to normal prices. But here nor there, a lot of people have hopped on, and if so, we're on the right side to start and look to keep that going. Let's see. If you're just tuning in, I am Ghost Picks Patrick. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll be talking about college basketball this morning. There's a bunch of games on the slate, so if there's any in particular that you want to talk about, you can throw them in the comments, and we'll get after them, a little insight. The main play today will be in Duke, North Carolina. That will be the one we were talking about here. And I think get right on into that one right off the rip. UNC and Duke. I kind of like the Tar Heels in this one. Close to home, but if you look at these two teams, the numbers for Carolina at home and away are night and day. Caleb Love is the key to that team, and same with the size. Armando Bacot and whatnot. You have to be able to match Mark Williams, Paulo Banchero. This should be an all-time matchup. But at the same time, Carolina at home has that little extra shooting ability which they need to stretch the floor against Duke. Duke has been liable defensive glass this year, especially in conference play. And anyone who's watched Carolina play for the last 10 years, the strength of their team is offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities. And it was like I said in that Dartmouth game in my write-up, not every team is going to be better, but if you get more opportunities to shoot the ball, whether it's by forcing turnovers, not turning the ball over, or getting offensive rebounds, Dartmouth only shot 35% from the field yesterday, and Yale shot 50%. But Yale had more turnovers, and Dartmouth had more offensive rebounds, and those kind of things create more opportunities. So you can, miss more shots and honestly look uglier doing it. But those are the teams we look for. A lot of the times they're undervalued. So a team so Carolina Duke, that's not going to be a premium play, I do not believe. But one play today that will be a premium play is at 12 o'clock. I'll go ahead and get right on into that one, is UConn. I love UConn plus the 5 points. So if you're watching this early one, you'll get that little treat. That will be a premium play. But UConn plus the 5 points on the road at Villanova. Villanova's been damn good. There's no doubt about that. And even at home, they've been even better. They probably have the most impressive losses of anybody in the country. If you think Marquette's a good team, then, they really have. So they've lost to Marquette twice, and they lost to Baylor, UCLA, and John blank the last one. 3 of the top 5 teams in the country have beaten Villanova. I think Connecticut's right up there. If you look at Connecticut, I think probably one of the only teams in the country with a top 10, top 15 offense, and a top 15 defense. It's rare to see in college basketball. And on the road, I expect a tight one. This one come down to the very wire. So 5 points, I think it's too much. And then this will be my live insight, and this one I will have in my write-up as well. Look for Villanova on the money line. If you can get it at plus 150, 120, if you get anything plus money, honestly, and you're looking for that 5-point middle. So you have UConn as your original pick at plus 5, and then look for a Villanova live line in that one. UConn is one of the scrappiest teams in the country. They can guard all positions. They have probably my favorite coach in the country. The poor man's Hurley. That dude's a freaking wild man. And he's a player's coach. The players love him. They get after it. Villanova, though, is a phenomenal team. So, I see them as more like a 2-point favorite in this one. So 3 points in college basketball is actually a relatively good value. So we'll be taking UConn. But live insight, I'm telling you, if UConn jumps them out of the gate or something, as only a 5-point spread, it shouldn't even take that big of a lead by UConn for that live line to be plus 150. So if UConn jumps out to like a 6-7 point lead early, would not be surprised to see that line, the live line, move a decent amount. And if they can hold that lead halfway through the first half or even into the halftime, that would be the ideal time to take a little sprinkle on Villanova live money line. Absolutely. And if it's a good enough middle opportunity to get like a plus 4.5 on Villanova, same thing goes for that as well. These are probably the 2 best teams in the Big East. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Both teams are phenomenal. But 5 points, I think this one, a little too many for a UConn team that you saw them, and they played well on the road. And that's very important against Villanova, who's a top home team, one of the top home teams in the country. They went to Auburn. The only loss of the year for the Auburn Tigers was UConn. UConn's a scrappy team. They can play fast. They can play slow. They can grind it out. They can do everything you need. And that's the kind of game I love. That's going to be my favorite game to watch. So 12 o'clock, if you're watching that one, I'll be tuned in. There's no doubt about that. Back to that Carolina-Duke game. So I want to get in that one just a little more. So looking at a couple things. If you look at these games, Big East, American. My bad. Good job, Joe. UConn is not in the Big East. So I'm stuck in the past. That's all right. So Connecticut. Now I'm throwing off a thing. UConn and UNC and Duke. Duke is one of these teams. You've seen them struggle at times this year, especially on the road. So against Notre Dame, we actually had Notre Dame in that one. Or we had Duke in that one. My correction. We had Duke in that one. And that was because Duke physically outmatched Notre Dame. Notre Dame is one of the best teams in the country, honestly, over the past 2 months. Past month and a half. They're about 11-1 and have been beating good teams. But athletically, you have to be able to keep up with Duke. They are one of the most athletic, gifted teams in the country. Them, Arizona, Gonzaga. If you don't have the horses, you're not running. There's certain teams like a Villanova or something that could maybe slow it down. But for example, Notre Dame just doesn't have it. Carolina, on the other hand, you got to have a great point guard to control the game. Caleb Love checks that box, and you got to be able to beat them at one of the 2 factors, either forcing the turnovers or on the offensive glass. Carolina is dominant on the offensive boards, and that's going to be the big difference in today's game. At plus 3, money line, the whole shebang. The same thing goes for this one. I said it yesterday about Creighton, and every single day I say the same thing. College basketball, NBA, I am not greedy. If I'm on the right side of a pick, I love it. But if I see Carolina just shooting 50%, 55% from three in the first half, and they're out there just whipping Duke. They're getting offensive boards, kicking it out. The crowd's getting into it. Duke's not going to get blown out in this game. And even though the first half might get out of hand or something like that, there's no quit in Duke. There's no quit in Coach K. So I will be looking to buy back on Duke. Same thing. In that +9, +8 range, I think Carolina +7. Anywhere in that 10-point middle range, I think it's a solid one. At least, I suggest a 25, 30% buyback at least. And that way, just minimize losses. And for these games where we're hitting on perfect middles, those are big, big wins, triple winners, such as Seton Hall yesterday. And Lee the day before, and I forgot the day before that. But free plays have been rolling, premium picks as well. If you want to talk literally about any game, you're more than welcome to shoot anything in the chat. I'm looking over here, checking some comments. But last game I will get into. I said I will get into one more night game, and then after that I'll leave it to the comments, or we'll just check on out of here if no one wants to talk about anything. But the one game I wanted to talk about was Kentucky and Alabama. Probably the game of the day outside of UNC. Actually, that's not even true. Rivalry week. This is the best Saturday of college basketball. There's all kinds of games. We got Kansas going up against Baylor, Alabama, and Kentucky. This is a stacked Saturday of college basketball. And then there's games, such as USC, Arizona, 5:00 p.m. Eastern start. So take it easy. It's a big Saturday, but don't get crazy at 12 o'clock. There's about 1.5 million games going off at 12. So take it easy. It's a long day. Pace yourself. But with that being said, quick little recap of what we've been going over so far. Carolina and UConn are the two picks that I will be giving out so far. UNC versus Duke, they dominate the glass, and they play a million times better at home. UConn is just underrated here at the catching 5 on the road. They're one of the better road teams. Going to Auburn and beating them for the only loss of the season just shows their capability. This should be a tight one. And in both those games, look for buybacks because, hey, it's college basketball. If it gets to that 10, 12-point middle, there's nothing wrong with a 25% buyback off your original investment. So let's see. Whoa. All right. We see some comments over here. So talking about Alabama and Kentucky. So this is one of these games. I see a chance over here in the comments. I will say, if you are on any of the other cappers, do kind of keep their picks to themselves. Those are the premium picks, unless those are that is just free play of the day or something. But here nor there. Alabama, I like Alabama as well. So he says Justin likes Alabama. I like Alabama. They are one of these teams. They have been absolutely getting after it on the offensive end. They play my kind of basketball. They play analytics basketball. They are dunks and threes, and then they get to the line at a decent clip too. But dunks and threes. You see, teams like the Chicago Bulls in the NBA with DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic just dominating the mid-range. College basketball is different. If you don't have a masterful mid-range game, that is the least efficient shot in basketball. Kentucky is actually one of those teams that shoots a decent amount of them. But against Kentucky, you got to be able to stop the inside in Agogwe or whatever. He's an absolute monster. And Alabama's ability to stretch the floor, to put 5 wide, to spread them out, will be a tough one in that matchup. So that's a game. I look for some points in that one. I can't wait to watch that one. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that Chance says that's his free play. Well, look, damn it, that's what I'm talking about. Justin and I are on the same play there. So Alabama. And why Alabama? You look at them home and away. And Alabama's kind of one of these teams similar to like Seton Hall. The way I said yesterday, they get a lot of open shots. Now, whether or not those shots go in is a different story. But they've got 4 guys that shoot 40% from 3, and on any given night, they can light it up. They spread the floor, they pass the ball well, and they create opportunities for everyone. They've got 4 guys that average like 3 assists. They absolutely get after it, move the ball. They play my kind of basketball. Put them at home in a big game, coming off a huge win. I think Alabama might be turning the tide. Kentucky also, we've seen them on the road this year. They only have, I think, 4 games on the road this year, if I'm correct. I will check some numbers while I'm doing this since we're live. Might as well be accurate with it. Let me see. LSU, Auburn, Notre Dame. The Notre Dame game in particular. We just saw what Duke did at the road on Notre Dame. But Kentucky got outmatched the entire game. They couldn't shoot. That is one of the biggest things about Kentucky is their three-point shooting has been absolutely terrible on the road. You mix that with Alabama's top 25 defense, really don't see many opportunities for Kentucky unless they, absolutely pound them inside, which Alabama, once again, top 20, top 30 defense. I mean, they are top 30 might be pushing it. They're probably like top 50. They're top 50. But that offense is enough to overpower just about any team. And I think at home they get a big, big boost there. I do want to talk about the Carolina-Duke game a little more now that a couple people are in here. So Carolina-Duke. This is the game of the day, game of the year, game of everything. So talking about the matchup side of the ball, you got to have size to match up with Duke. And with Oklahoma's transfer in Maytek and Baycott, they are able to match up across the board. None of the Carolina is small. Everybody they bring in has size. They can replace bodies just one after another to hang with Duke. Absolutely important, and you'll see that across all 3 of the free plays today. Alabama, depth, UNC, depth, and UConn, depth. UConn will be suffocating Villanova all game long on that defensive end. So those are the 3 free plays today. Michigan State, we got checking the comments over here. We got Pappy. Michigan State 2.5 over Rutgers. Now that line there, Michigan State neither one of those teams has been on fire. Rutgers has been very inconsistent. One of the most inconsistent teams I've seen. I do believe the other day they had 40 points in the first 25, 30 minutes of the game. In the last 10 minutes, they put up about 25 and actually came back and covered that game versus Northwestern, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Chance. Do you see any first half plays? So I really stay away from first half unless I love a home favorite or one of those. That's kind of one of the things I stick to. If I really love a team, I stick to it for the full game. I believe over the course of the game, those points come into value. Trying to pick out a first half, there's certain teams like yesterday. I had St. Bonaventure first half versus Richmond. Richmond's one of the better second half teams in the country. They're slow starting, kind of get their guys worked in, get everybody the equal amount of shots in the first half until someone gets hot, and then they really feed him in the second half. I don't know if you watched Richmond or St. Bonaventure yesterday, but actually one of their players scored over half the points. He had 21 in the first half, and still St. Bonaventure almost covered that one. But no big first halves in particular that I'm seeing. One thing I always suggest if you're a fan of these 12 o'clock games, look for games in central time zones and with solid defenses. Something like Illinois, Indiana at 12 o'clock. That first half under is something I haven't even looked into, but there's no doubt about it. You always got to look into those kind of things. That place will be going wild. You got 11 a.m. Local start time, and these college teams are, they're same thing. They're college kids, so they're getting up off routine, 11 a.m. start time. That place will be going absolutely wild. Indiana has a good defense as it is, and Illinois can match them. I think that one a little first half under, and that one would be something that I hate there. I'm with this St. John's and Butler game too. St. John's coming off a short one, almost the same situation there. I think there's a lot of points. First half unders in the early slates. I kind of lean toward, but nothing in particular. Nothing first half that really jumps off the board for me today. And Steve, yeah. You can go back and rewatch this. Once I close it, you can rewind or fast forward or whatever. But I think that just about does it for today. Actually, no, Clarence, Arkansas. That's the last one. All right, so the last game we'll talk about today is the Arkansas game tonight. And then I'll do a quick recap of all the picks. And, I think that'll do it for today. All right, so let me see. Let me pull up this Arkansas game here real quick. All right. If you could, while I'm searching, comment, subscribe, throw a little comment, do whatever. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you tuning in. I am Ghost Picks Patrick, and we are streaking with these college picks, especially with the free plays for the YouTube community. So I always love when the premium clients are doing well because, that's what we strive for. But, it's always hard to say it with a straight face like, hey, my free picks are 0 for 20, but my premium ones, they're 20 and 2. We're streaking on both ends. So let's keep it up today and finish off with this Arkansas game. Mississippi State, Arkansas. Mississippi State's a dangerous, dangerous team. They've got one of my favorite point guards in the country. I think Francisco Molinar. He's from, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. He's one of the only players in the country from the Dominican Republic. Probably going to be the next one drafted. He absolutely gets after it. Probably one of the most underrated players in the country. If you saw him last game out, I forgot who they played. I'm drawing a huge blank there, but absolutely got after it. Mississippi State was up like 25 in the first half, beating the brakes off of somebody. Molinar was at the helm. They also got, North Carolina transfer Brooks. I'm drawing a huge blank on his first name, Garrison Brooks. But this should be a dang good game here. I kind of lean toward Mississippi State plus the points. Mississippi State has not been phenomenal on the road, but that Iverson Molinar, he's got one of the highest assist to turnover ratios in the country, and he also averages 20 points a game. If he's on his A game, that team is one of the low-key dark horses. I stand by them. They've got probably a top 20 powerful offense in the country. They got some horses. So I'm going to lean toward Mississippi State in that one. Though Arkansas has been playing pretty damn good and their defense is stout, I'm going to lean toward Mississippi State in that one, catching the points on the road. I think Mississippi State's underrated. I think as far as winning the SEC, in the SEC tournament, they'll be a team that I'm looking for. Obviously, Kentucky, Auburn, LSU, all these teams are the teams that people talk about, but with experience and a damn good point guard, you got everything you need. They rebound the ball. Let me see. Looking at my numbers here. Top 15 rebounding team offensive rebounds, top 20 defensive rebounds. They get to the line. They do just about everything good you want to. They could shoot better from the line. I always like to see that. But experience, they play, the top 7 guys they play are all experienced, at least like sophomores or juniors. So give me Mississippi State on the road. I actually like them on the money line too if I'm taking the 5 points. So might have just talked me into one there. Late night action. Yeah, no doubt about that. I love me some Mississippi State. They're one of my favorite teams to watch. Iverson Molinar. If you're not doing anything, if you got the multiple TV setup, I do suggest putting on that game on the background. If you have Carolina Duke or actually that's the 8:30 game. So if you have Alabama Kentucky, Mississippi State Arkansas should be a dang good game tonight. And plus the 5.5, I'll lean toward Mississippi State on the road. Quick recap: Carolina plus the 3 points at home versus Duke. They are one of the best home teams in the country. It's a night and day. The role players and their 3-point percentages it's a night and day between home and road. Caleb Love, the point guard, controls the game, and the offensive rebounds will be the main reason that they beat Duke. Let's see. Also, all these games that I will be talking about, if you find that middle opportunity, especially in Duke and in the Villanova games. So I like UNC plus the 3 points, and I will be looking to take Duke around like plus 8 if I get the opportunity to. Duke is a scrappy team. They got some vets. They got Coach K. They're not going to get blown out. They're going to fight. No matter if they're down 20 in the first half, I'll definitely be taking Duke in the second half because they're going to fight. UConn on the road at Villanova, catching the 5. I like UConn. I think they're a top 10 team. They're ranked number 17 right now. They've had a tough schedule. I said it. The main reason. Not the main reason. You beat Auburn on the road. Auburn's only loss. You put up over 100 points in overtime. UConn can play on the road. They can scrap with anyone. Defense travels. They have probably top 5 defense in the country and a top 5 coach, in my opinion. Give me the points. Give me UConn. I will be looking to take Villanova if I get the right price. on a juicy money line and go for that 5-point win area for Villanova. So if I get like a plus 150 at some point on Villanova money line or better, watch the game if you are watching and see how it is. If second half, if you got a good spread on UConn and Villanova, so if UConn's up, like 4-7 at the half, a little middle opportunity, can't beat it on Villanova in the second half. Let's see. Then last one. Drawing a huge blank. Oh, Alabama on the road, or Alabama at home versus Kentucky. Kentucky struggles on the road, and Alabama is one of these teams, I think, just like Seton Hall, getting hot at the right time, playing some good basketball. They get tons of open shots. It's just whether or not they make them. And against Kentucky, I think they will be able to stretch the floor, and that's dangerous. And last one, thanks to Chance over here, Arkansas, Mississippi. Oh, yeah, and you got to think about some of these things, too. It's snowing down in Mississippi, down in Arkansas. Absolutely crazy. Crazy weather patterns. But here nor there, Mississippi State at Arkansas is the final one. That was a game we talked about here late in this episode. Mississippi State, one of the most experienced teams in the country. They got one of my favorite point guards in the country. He's got one of the best turnover assist ratios. Absolutely gets after it. Iverson Molinar, Garrison Brooks, Mississippi State. I think they cover and definitely worth a sprinkle on the money line at plus 180 at that point. Shoo. I think that about does it here. That's about all I got. Keep it rolling. Golf podcast. I might, tonight, this afternoon, we'll be ideally doing our first episode, looking for a live number on some of the guys heading into Sunday. Golfers always struggle on Sunday, so we'll be doing the 2 episodes a week. We're just firing it up for the first time. Me and my boy Moff Dollars, the golf guru. So we'll be doing that here starting out tonight, and then every Tuesday or Wednesday from here on out. If you want, for one day only, the NCAA month will still be $150, and that link is in the description. Other than that, if you just want a test run, $10, $20 NCAA basketball Saturday, you get the full college slate and all. Good luck. God bless. Grind on. Let's keep this heater alert going. And I think triple free play today. We'll go official double free play are UNC and UConn. I also like Mississippi State, Alabama. Good luck. God bless. Grind on. Catch you back here tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.